Hello, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, this still feels weird for me because I think I'm officially shooting the first episode of a podcast, and I'm obviously new to this space, so it's a bit intimidating and I feel awkward. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Like, my house there at the back is so messy. But I was just like, no, man, let me do it. Let me not make any more excuses. I thought I was gonna wait for equipment. I'm in my head even as I speak because I was like, oh, maybe having a microphone would have helped, or I don't know, proper recording equipment. But I really like this very casual um setting that I'm doing right now, even though like my house is a mess. There's like clothes everywhere around me. um but yeah, I think it's right on cue because I do want to talk about life as I am, without trying to curate this page to becoming something so perfect, that adds pressure not only to myself but to the people out there. I am hoping that this becomes a place where we connect. We can have real conversations, be real as humans, in all our mess. I think I'm such a complicated person, and I mean, I wear the term complicated with honor, right? Because it's interesting. It's not boring, it's intriguing. Like, I don't know, I always feel like people who are interesting, you want to know more, you're drawn to those people. But I think it's also interesting because I own my mess, like I own my complexity. And by that I mean I'm somewhat of a nerdish person because I love reading. I know random facts about very random things. But at the same time, I do like a Bacardi. I'd say twerking, but it's not. I love a bit of a Bacardi dance, which I still can't do, but I find that interesting. I do love academia. I love the idea of researching a topic, and studying and sharing knowledge in these institutional platforms. But at the same time, I like TikTok, and I used to judge myself for so long about the fact that I enjoy TikTok because it's often looked down upon. It doesn't have class or whatever, unlike Instagram, which is a bit more polished. But I am digressing. So if you don't know me, my name is Zintatu. I do have a TikTok page where I share about my journey to finding the love of my life. And a friend of mine actually suggested that I create that page on TikTok. It intimidated me quite a bit because I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm opening myself up to people, to scrutiny and criticism. And I've faced some of that actually in the last year that I've been on TikTok. But something amazing has also occurred from sharing about my journey. I found like-minded people. For the longest time, growing up in Soweto, in the rural areas before I even moved to Soweto and later to Alexandra, I've always felt like I'm an anomaly. I never came across people who were similar to me. I didn't play or engage in the gassy lifestyle. I didn't have many friends. I just stayed at home, partly because my mom was strict as well, obsessed about my books, even though I didn't enjoy them to the extent that like I was a straight A student. I did all right. Found men to be quite scary, to be quite honest. So I didn't really date much. And anytime I attempted to, it was always just scary. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I have this dichotomous existence with things that I don't know, don't make sense to the average person. And so I always thought I was by myself, like I was alone. And so that TikTok page allowed me to actually see that, hey, there's a lot of us. There's a few people who relate to experiences, and that makes me feel like I'm normal, like I'm not so alone, and I'm not doomed in this world. So I thought, oh, let me take some of those learnings from that podcasts, or rather from the TikTok page, and some of the learnings in life that I've come to realize as I explore this journey to finding the love of my life, to something more long form and something that I don't know, exists beyond just a trending audio or a trending video that moment in time, which is something I find with TikTok or even Instagram. Like you post something, and a week later it's forgotten about. But I do find some of these conversations are very important to have, and I would like a platform that can archive those. Maybe someday for even my kids, if I decide to have children, it's something, I guess, an archive they can revisit and get to understand how their mother thought, what her opinions were on some of these things. And I mean, I always think I'm probably going to have a short life anyway, so what better way to extend my life than to actually have a repository of my thoughts as I learn and as I grow. And what I find fascinating as well is the ability to always go back and revisit some of the ideas you've had and see how you've evolved as a person, embraced new ideas, and anyway, this is becoming more serious than I wanted it to be. So anyway, I've been thinking about names, what those could possibly be. I haven't settled on anything right now. I was thinking with my friend, I was like, oh, maybe I should workshop a couple of names, and I thought, should it be love actually? Because I'm on this journey to finding the love of my life, but that's not all there is to life. Like I'm interested in so many things, so maybe call it life actually, because sometimes I also share about things about life in general. Like it could be work related, it could be friendships. I love my friends so much, and I love work. I enjoy being productive. I wish my livelihood wasn't tied to it, because then if I didn't work or succeed at work, I would still want to have comfortable housing, and eat well. I love hiking too, like all things fitness activity, I'm obsessed. And I mean, it would be nice to talk about those things sometimes. Hashtag move your sexy body chomies. I'm known for that on Instagram. So I do want to integrate all of that in one platform without limiting myself to a particular topic. So love, actually, I don't know. You guys will let me know what you think about that. But I'm still gonna explore what the title of the podcast is gonna be called. This is already becoming long, so I think I'm gonna end it there for today. What to expect? I'm definitely gonna be sharing more about my journey to finding the love of my life. What I find interesting about that journey is that for me, as someone who is a late bloomer, if I can call it that, who dated late, and was always uncomfortable about the idea of sharing a life with someone or being intimate with someone, it is more of a learning process. Like I've learned so much about myself. It's almost like I'm gathering information about myself, and I do see dating as a skill, much like being a professional is a skill. You have to learn, you have to practice and get better at it, and eventually you do it really, really well. I think dating is the same, because I haven't always been a great partner, I would say. I mean, I just thought it's something that happens automatically because you love someone. But I realized you need to learn good communication and practice that and be good at it, and you need to learn showing up for people in ways that matter to them, in ways that make them feel loved and supported. Not everyone is the same, and therefore you need to take the time to learn your partner to be able to be a good partner to them. And I think that applies across the board, to your friends, to your family, and that sort of thing. So that's why I started documenting this experience, because I was just like, I don't think I'm a good girlfriend, or haven't always been a good girlfriend, and if I do want this partnership, then I want to make sure that I am equipped with all the tools available to me to be a good one, and because I also have certain expectations from my partner, I want to make sure that I can also meet my end of the bargain and be able to show up for them in that particular way. So yeah, what else? I've led an interesting life. You know, I have a background in urban and regional planning from Wits. Later went on to do urban studies, which is not a very common program. But I then worked in consulting um, as a development economist. Later went to start my own um, consulting firm, and then joined, you know, a startup in IT. So I don't know, I feel like I've led different lives. It feels that way, at least to me. I've had some, you know, disagreements or qualms with previous employers, had legal cases. So I would also like to sample on my experiences about those things, what it's like starting a business and whatnot. Obviously, I do want this to be a more natural, flowing type conversation as opposed to a more curated um, type format. So yeah, that's all to expect about me. I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you being here. I don't take it for granted. Excuse me. Till next time, I hope you guys will be here and stay. This is like, I feel like I've been talking for so long, but it's only been 11, almost 12 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it nice and short for today. Bye. Thank you for being here.